Hey everyone, today I am doing my August wrap up. I haven't filmed in a month. I didn't get to do my mid-month wrap up. Won't bore you with details, it's just been a crazy busy month. So let's just get into it without a 10-minute explanation as to why I've been away. The first book that I finished this month was Specials by Scott Westerfeld. This is the third book in the Ugly series, but is the conclusion of a trilogy within the series. So I can't really tell you anything about this just because it would spoil you. I gave this one 3 stars, mainly because I found that it was just a really quick wrap up of everything. The main character of Tally has gone through so much. That's my kid trying to get in. He'll probably appear in a second. Tally just went through a lot of changes. It was a lot. Like, she went through a lot and I didn't find the end very convincing. We've got Theo now because he couldn't figure out how to operate a door. The next book I finished was actually an audiobook that I own the physical copy and I hadn't read it in ages, and that is Slaughterhouse Five by Kurt Vonnegut. I saw it on Overdrive and just decided to pick it up. It was a really good audiobook. I would definitely recommend it if you haven't read it and it intimidates you, even though it's like really short. I read was a reread, and that is the Daughters of the Moon Volume 1. So in this it has Goddess of the Night, Into the Cold Fire, and Nightshade. Daughters of the Moon basically follows these 4 girls. Vanessa has the ability to separate her molecules and she can become invisible. Her best friend's name is Caddy. Caddy can go through this thing which she calls the tunnel, and she travels for backwards in time, but her power sort of has some limitations. Then there is Serena, she's my favorite character. She can read minds, and her friend Jamina, she has premonitions. So it sort of is like very reminiscent of almost like Sailor Moon, or like someone on Goodreads likened it to Charmed. They didn't really like it because they are really short books. I mean, like, there's 3 books in this and it's only 800 pages long. So things do get solved kind of quickly, but I love them. Like, it's a very amazing representation of early YA. I think they first started being published in like 2000 or something. So I love these books. I have all of them, obviously. Theo, don't even think about it, mate. He's trying to push the camera down. Oh my goodness. Next book that I read was also an audiobook, and that is The Little Book of Hygge. This is The Danish Way to Live Well. It was a really cute book. It was a very quick listen, but like with all sorts of non-fiction, it does tend to repeat itself. Theo's been kicked out of the room for this one because it is adult subject matter, and that book is Savages by Dawn Winslow. I have owned this book for so long. My best friend has always been hassling me to read it, so I finally did it. I gave it 4 stars. It's about Ben and Chon. They are best friends who run a marijuana business out of Laguna Beach. They have a girlfriend that they share, sort of. Her name is Ophelia, but O for short, she hates her name, so she's always called O. Ben and Chon are approached by the Baja cartel and are basically told that they'll be working for them now, and Chon, who is ex-military, says fuck them, and O is a big part of the story. I don't want to say too much else. I mean, like, it's just a really crazy ride. I know that it was made into a movie that, like, a lot of people had a lot of feelings on. I enjoyed the book. I gave it 4 stars. The book that I read was volume 2 of Daughters of the Moon, and that is The Secret Scroll, The Sacrifice, and The Lost One. Now, The Secret Scroll was the first book that follows Caddy, who is Vanessa's best friend. Vanessa has the first book, Serena has the second book, Jamina has the third book, and then Caddy has the 4th book. And then of course the 5th and the 6th books, The Sacrifice and The Lost One, follow different characters. I won't say too much else just because I don't want to spoil guys for anything, but I love these. I think that they're a really great continuation. I gave both of those volumes 4 stars. I just think that they're a lot of fun, and I really like that it's getting progressively darker as the story goes on. Like, in the first book it was a little bit tamer, and then there are things that are happening in these books and then it's getting a little bit heavy. So I'm really enjoying that, and I'm definitely going to be continuing on in the month of September with the rest of the books. Last book that I read this month was my 100th book of the year. I am not going to bother putting my Goodreads goal up again. I've already upped it from 60 to 100 and I've got it at 100, so that's all good. So that will just stay there, and that is Fallen Ember by Erin Watt. I had some pretty high hopes for this one. I'm sure that you guys know that I love the Royals trilogy, but I was pretty let down by this book, honestly, guys. It follows Easton. Easton is the 3rd royal brother. If you haven't read the Royals, you probably could read this book, but I would definitely recommend reading the Royals first, just because this one kind of lacked a lot for me. So it was all Easton's point of view, like the first book was all Ella's point of view, and then it alternated between Reed and Ella. So my problem with this whole Easton carrying this book is that his inner dialogue was nothing too interesting. the object of Easton's affection is, her name is Hartley, and the way that Easton and Hartley meet is just, I won't tell you guys because it's obviously a spoiler, but if I ever met a guy under those circumstances, there is absolutely no way in friggin' hell that I would ever continue anything with him. Like, it was just, I don't know, there wasn't a lot of romance in this book. It was definitely Easton trying to convince Hartley to be his friend, and I don't even know how he managed to do that. The other thing that I really hated is that Easton as a character in the first 3 books, he really did progress. He kind of grew, he was on a different path, and this book was just like a step backwards for him. I also think that we really could have benefited from Hartley's chapters to see some insight into the person that she was. I didn't get that much of a sense of who she is. There were some things that were going on there that were quite contradictive of other things that were happening. Like, she was strong and she was tough, but it was kind of only to Easton, and like, then she would stand up to other people and then it just wouldn't work. So, I don't know, just kind of, it fell short for me. Like, it definitely did. I will be reading the next one. I think it's called Crack Kingdom. It comes out on New Year's Eve maybe, but this book, seriously, like, it does end on a massive cliffhanger. I gave it 3 stars just because of that. My eyelash this whole video has been like sticking to the other one. Like, I look like I've been winking at you guys. Personally, I just didn't really love it. I think that it could have been better. You know, that's just me. It's just my thoughts on it. I'm also in the process of reading 2 other books, and they are Moon Demon by Lynn Ewing. So this is the 7th book in the Daughters of the Moon series. I'm 126 pages into it, and this is another Vanessa. And then I'm also 149 pages into A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin. So hopefully I will have them finished by next month. I never do TBRs. I'm very much a mood reader. That is everything. I hope that you guys miss me a lot. Yeah, I'm just gonna wrap it up. I hope that you're having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. Lots of love, hugs, and kisses. Mwah! Bye.